Growth, the process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
the back end. Oh no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable!
League of Europe, grow or fade.
How is it going, everyone? Welcome to the League of Europe. My name is Jaco, in case you guys don't know me by now, and we are here for the third round of the PC tier, going around the Vietnamese circuit. It's a lot of people's, I think, first sort of times doing an actual league race on this track, so I can imagine it's probably going to be pretty difficult for a lot of the other guys doing this circuit. But I mean, nonetheless, we will push through with it, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this is actually going to go. And I'm sure a few of the other guys are also looking forward to seeing how this will turn out for them. I will just be getting the standings up for you guys right now, just so at least then you can see who or what the standings are looking like. So here you go, they are on your screen right now. Of course, you can see Mr. Anchor taking the win last week out at Bahrain, getting the full 25 points. He's currently sitting in first on 50 points. The German of Jonathan is now in second in the championship. However, that may change tonight, as unfortunately he isn't racing tonight. But he is sitting in second in the championship with 33 points. VSR Psych is sitting in P3 with 30 points to his name. Warren sitting in P4 at the moment on 23 points. And again, all of this, it looks like it is subject to change later tonight. Fifth at the moment is Lawmans. Again, he is unfortunately not racing either. XL Dan sitting just 4 points behind him in P6 on 18 points. Then you've got the other ILRT lad of ILRT Black Panther sitting in P7 on 9 points altogether. The finish of E2 sitting on 8 with Coop Janssen sitting on 7 points, Frey sitting on 6 points, and then we've actually got a tie for 11th with V5, Vallejo and Gilzo all sitting on 4 points. The lads that are still yet to score any sort of points at the moment are Bree, WF Gaming, O'Hardy, Bones, Exy, Graham and Itendu. Of course, Itendu and Vallejo getting their full-time spots for their current racing team, I suppose. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this is going to go for all of these guys. And I mean, yeah, as I said, we'll take a quick look as well over at what the calendar is looking like, in case you guys have forgotten what it is as well. So of course, as I said, this week we are at Vietnam. It is the 21st of August. And then next week we are at the Netherlands, so we do skip China and go straight over to the place where I think a lot of people do tend to quite enjoy driving from one of the two new tracks. Of course, then we do have Spain after that, and then we do have Baku again. Not exactly a favourite of mine, as probably people would tend to know. And then after that, we've got Canada. One that is my favourite, again, as people tend to know. Then we got Austria, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, Italy. Then we got a break week on the 30th of October. Then we finish it off with Singapore, Japan, USA, Mexico, Abu Dhabi, and then Brazil as the final race. Again, as always, traditional League of Europe style. But I'm sure everyone is itching to seeing what's going on in the qualifying session right now. So let us transition over to the current qualifying session. And at the moment, DL Warren is the one that is currently sitting on pole. He has done a 33.5, with Dan actually not too far behind him doing a 33.6. I'm assuming all of these guys are on a set of the soft compound of tyre. I could be completely wrong. Yep, everyone is on a set of softs. Looking like it's quite dry for the qualifying, and I might assume that it's going to be the same for the race. Again, we'll wait and see. But we'll ride on board with the Renault Man of ILRT Black Panther, excuse me, as he's making his way up to the end of Sector 2. It's a 106.3, so maybe it's going to put him around sort of where Cooper and V5 are this afternoon. You can also see that there's only 15 drivers tonight. As I said, I think a lot of people just didn't want to drive Vietnam. I personally quite enjoy the track, but again, it's not exactly to everybody's fancy. So yeah, I think they just wanted to kind of avoid out on this tonight. But coming around the final corner, ILRT Black Panther is only just put behind V5 and has just gone up ahead of Bag of Bones. But we are actually going to go on board with the current championship leader, as in fact no we're not, because he's not actually doing anything. So we'll ride on board for a lap with Mr. XL Dan, and I will just let you guys watch this lap through. There we go, Dan coming across the line and has, I was going to say chucked it on pole, but Mr. Anchor did end up actually going ahead and doing a lap in the end, and he's done a 32.9. So, wow, okay, I did not accept that from Finn. But on board with D.O. Warren, he's got the rev glitch, so I'm just going to sit in a TV cam, and in fact he's making his way into pits. You know what, let's go on board with the man in the Mercedes instead of McLaren. The man in the Mercedes, the Maltese of Brie. He's yet to set any sort of lap so far, so we'll sit on board with him as he's just making his way up to the DRS straight right now. And DRS now wide open. Keeps it nice and tight, making his way up to probably one of the heaviest braking zones on the calendar, of course along with China's one as well. Very difficult exit. A lot of people I know can tend to lose it on that exit, so very good job of keeping it stable through there. He's done a 106.5 middle sector, carrying on throughout the whole sector. So if he doesn't pick this up, because I can see his little light is flashing, he may be sort of around the region of where Black Panther and V5 are. So we'll stick on board with him as he makes his way up to the penultimate corner right now. Oh, he did hit the wall though, and now we're in the final corner. In fact, he's gone up ahead of him. He's gone into P6. Not a bad lap from him whatsoever. Vallejo as well, I've also realised, has gone up into P7. You can see the guys in 8th, 9th and 10th, E2, V5 and Black Panther making their way out of the box. We have only got 5 minutes left of the session. And I'm actually going to sit on board with Bag of Bones because he is on his way down to that hairpin as well. And he, from what it looked like in Sector 1, he was only just shy of his Sector 1 time. So that was a very nice exit from the Brit. Is he up on his time? Nope, he's down on a 10th, and he has a massive lockup coming to the final sector, which I personally is going to say is actually my favourite part of the calendar, because it's just so many different turns all in one go, and it's just very fun to ride through. I must admit, it's very fun. There we go, Bones now up to the penultimate corner. He has got no ERS left to play with, and coming around the final corner now does the Brit. DRS wide open, and it's in fact, it is only just an improvement on his time. But he doesn't jump up any places and he doesn't go down any places. Of course, you don't go down any places when you do set a lap, but yeah. You know what? Let's sit on board with the guy who's done a 32.9. He's only 500ths down on his times, and our current championship leader, Mr. Anchor. So let's see how he fares on. Gets a very nicely, very good traction coming out of the long sweeping left-hander. And now DRS wide open. As there are a few yellow flags, I think he's just trying to back off of everyone else, but they need to be careful for not hindering anybody else's lap times. As Mr. Anchor around the hairpin. Very nice exit. Is he up or down on his time? We should see. He is up on his time almost by a tenth, so this could be looking at around a very low 32.9, maybe even a 32.8, as he's now making his way through the S portion of the track. As you can see, Syke just there getting out of the way for his fellow VSR compadre, making his way around the penultimate corner now. He has still got the ERS left to play with, and now he doesn't. DRS now wide open. He does improve on his lap time. Only by 3400ths of a second, but it's still an improvement nonetheless. Now, a few guys that are looking that could challenge him. This man on your screen right here of DL Warren is definitely one of them. Very nice exit coming out of turn 4, I think that was. So, getting the best traction as he possibly could as he stepped up on his time. Very nice use of full part of the track. And Warren is now going to have DRS wide open in about 5 seconds time. There you go, DRS wide open for him now as he makes his way up towards the hairpin. Let's see if he is going to be any sort of improvement on his lap time. It is looking like it could be an improvement, and it could be quite a drastic improvement. Dan is only 100ths of a second faster than him, and Dylan Warren, there you go, he's a tenth up on his time. Ooh, absolutely smacking the wall. And yeah, he just goes straight to the barrier to just absolutely muller his front wing, because I can tell he was not happy with that lap. Syke, however, is now only just starting his proper lap now, so he's making his way, or he's going to be making his way up towards turn 1. I think he invalidated his last lap, unfortunately. But another man I'm going to go on board with is going to be Graham, as he's just made his way around turn 4 and turn 5. And I mean, yeah, he's one of the only ones along with Syke just behind him that is on a lap. So stick on board with the Racing Point driver. As I've said this for the past few races now, he's definitely impressed me with how he has been in a race, and I don't think we've seen the full potential of him as of yet. And same with Coop. Speaking of that, his teammate is also on a lap, as he too has retired from the session. Mr. Anchor has also retired from the session. He feels like he has done enough. So Dan, best so far he's sitting in is in P2, but of course he is on an outlap making his way through the S's as we speak. He may just have enough time to get a lap in. In fact, yeah, he'll have plenty of time to get a lap in, so we'll keep our eye out for that one. Itendu has just retired from the session, so I don't think he's happy with what he has done. He's going to be starting down at least in P13. But this man that we're on board with right now, Graham, very wide out of one of the S sections now, and he makes his way around the penultimate corner. Does mount the inside curb, gets a nice exit coming out of there as well. Keeps it as tight as you can up towards that corner and across the line. He did improve on his time. Again, though, it's not enough for any positions whatsoever. Now I'm going to sit on board with the other one, the other Racing Point, as VSR Syke didn't even end up improving. So Coop, possibly the only one that can maybe try and challenge Dan as he makes his way up to the line. He goes up into P5 and does a 33.9. Just trying to see who's going to be the next one across the line. Is that Frey? I think it is. It is. Frey is the next one to make his way up to the line. The Spaniard now around the final corner and up towards the line. It's an improvement. It's only P14. WF Gaming is going to be the next one to make his way up towards the line. He is a 10th up on his time. But is it going to be enough? He does absolutely clutter the wall. He did improve, but that was only the best he could do. Bones, the lowest position he can now get is only in P12 where he is at the moment. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Bree is going to be the next one across the line. Sorry, so we'll stick on board with the Maltesers. He's actually just smacked the wall, and he smacked the wall once again. So no improvement for him, but Dan, I think, is just behind him. Dan now making his way up to the line. Is it any challenge? 6 in P2. What about the other Mercedes, though, of V5? In fact, Black Panther is the one making his way up towards the line now. And across the line does the Belgian. P7 just jumps up ahead of Bree. Bree is definitely going to be kicking himself for that one because I saw he was up on his time. But V5 now up to the line. Improvement as well. And has just beaten Black Panther. What about Bones, though? Bones, I think, is going to find the final one. Jumps up ahead of Graham, and Graham is still trying to go for a lap, but no improvement. So, there is your final classifications for the qualifying for the PC tier of LOE. Mr. Anchor chucking it on pole once again. I think this is his second... No, yeah, this is his second pole of the season. Of course, BDG Jonathan taking pole last week over at Bahrain. Dan sitting in P2, I think this is his first front row seat. Warren sitting in P3 with Syke in P4. Coop in P5. E2 sitting in P6 with V5 and P7. Black Panther in 8th. Bree in 9th with Vallejo rounding out the top 10. Bones sitting in a nice comfortable 11th. He gets a free choice of tyre. So he could possibly throw a little bit of a stir in the mix. We'll wait and see. Graham sitting in P12 with Nintendo in 13th, Frey in 14th. WF Gaming is taking that final spot on the grid as we're just waiting for qualifying to just now end for a lot of the, just waiting for qualifying to end. But anyone that is in the chat, make sure to put your top 3 predictions in to see who you think is going to be where. And I'm untoo sure as to why it's now showing. They see if he Gasly, Leclerc and Ocon and Verstappen. No idea why, but okay. There you go. As I said, there are your final classifications for qualifying. Top 4 all within a second of each other, but Mr. Anchor taking pole, as I said, for the second time, with Dan in second, DR Warren in P3. P4 is going to be Mr. VSR Syke. Coop is in P5 with V2 in 6th. V5 in 7th, Black Panther in 8th. Bree in 9th, and Vallejo. The Finn rounding out the top 10. As I said, Bones gets his first free choice of tyres, so does Graham, sitting in P12. Frenchman of Nintendo in P13 with Frey in 14th, and WF Gaming rounding out the final position. 2.9, maybe around sort of 3 seconds separate the whole grid. Of course, and it is only just the one grid for the PC side. Hopefully, next season, we could possibly have the 2. Because it was very heavily... What's the word? It was very heavily requested that a lot of people would want to join the PC side. So, hopefully, next season, if we get a lot more in, we could possibly have 2 grids. And if we do, I'll be much looking forward to that. But now we just await for all of these guys to get their setups, get all of their strategies put in play, and then we can get the Vietnamese Grand Prix on the PC side underway. Now we do just await for everyone, or just waiting for DL Warren to be put in, as there we go. Just took a little bit of time. But we're on the formation lap now, and let's have a look at what everybody has gone on. So, everyone outside of the top 10 have opted to go on the mediums. So you can do a one stop from soft to hard. I have done it here before as well. Medium to hard, of course, is going to be a lot easier, as Warren has just left the session. Let's see if I can get him back in ASAP then. And hopefully... Oh, there we go, he's back in anyway. So he should be back in time for once the formation lap has commenced. But, I mean, as I said, guys, anyone that's in the chat, see what predictions you're going to be having for your top 3. And, as I said, hopefully, this is going to be a very good race. So yeah, we have got 28 laps of the Vietnamese Grand Prix up ahead of us. It does feel long, I must admit, it does feel very long. But there you go, it's saying what the predicted pit stop strategy is. Just like the actual AWS in real life, it's wrong. You can literally, as I said, you can literally do it one stop from soft to hard, one stop from medium to hard as well. All of that is possible. The last 2 times I've actually seen races at Vietnam, there's not been a safety car. So I'm a bit intrigued to see if we will see one tonight with all of these guys. I doubt it, but we had one right at the start of Bahrain before we even got to turn 1, so there's always that chance. But there you go, Mr. Anchor now making his way up to the line, and we shall await for the 5 red lights to commence. So here we go. Now we just await for the 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. They went out very, very quickly, so I was not expecting that. But Psych has already moved up ahead of DL Warren at the start. Mr. Anchor and Dan now both side by side in almost turn 1. It's just going 2 by 2, doing it in Noah's Ark styles. Mr. Anchor has gone off track, but Dan has managed to take the lead of the race as Mr. Anchor trying to go down the inside in towards turn 2, turn 3. No sort of move done. Dan now takes the lead of the race. We've got to make sure everyone does make it through cleanly. It looks as if they have. And a bit of wing has just flown off. I'm not too sure who that was by, but, well, we'll see how everybody else copes up into it, as Mr. Anchor has actually gone back up into the lead of the race, and DL Warren now trying to go side by side with Dan. Very close to getting contact with that wall, but very clean driving from the pair of them. But Mr. Anchor now taking that lead of the race once again, and everyone looks like they've sort of stayed in position. I'm kind of intrigued to see who lost their front wing at the beginning. Was it Frey? Because he is dropping down positions. It doesn't look like it was. Was it? Just trying to see who it was. Honestly, I'm not too sure. But Black Panther and E2 have just managed to change positions. They're going 3 wide. Oh no, boys, this is not good. We're not trying to go 3 wide into a hairpin. Surely not. It was V5 actually. V5 has got a bit of his wing missing, so I'm not too sure how that has gone about. But yeah, very interesting start to the race as E2 and Black Panther. Oh no, not through the S's. Surely not. No, Black Panther does just back out and just let that one go, as Frey has gone around and has gotten quite a bit of wing damage on his front left end plate, as you can see. So it's gone from bad to worse for the Spaniard from the start, as Bones and Nintendo made their way up in the P8 and into P9. So been a good start for the Brit and a good start for the Frenchman. As the 2 Mercs have just changed positions. I'd probably say for V5 it's more than likely best if he was just to come into the pits now, do two sets of mediums to the end of the race. I'm sure he'll be able to go ahead and do that as well. But Vallejo at the moment does just touch the inside wall. I don't think he's got any wing damage from that. It doesn't look as if he has, but he is close to the back of the bag of bones. As saying that, Dan and Warren just straight down the inside of the Dutchman of Dan gets the move done. And Mr. Anker has already moved up 1.5 seconds up ahead of Warren and Dan. Now, this is where it's going to be a bit interesting because Warren, and we know he has the pace to try and keep up with Mr. Anker. He has been complaining about this track all week, and he's happy to accept that. So we'll see how he does fare on as we look like we're about to have a battle for P8 as Bones trying to go down the inside of Itendu in towards the hairpin. Bit of a lock up from Bones, but a little bit of contact as well between the pair of them. And Itendu does keep that position. Graham and V5 are also trying to go side by side with each other, and I think V5 has managed to hold it, although Graham now down the inside of V5, and again no sort of move still done. Graham is having to sit behind a damaged wing of V5, but Vallejo still close to the back of these two of Bones and Itendu. As you can see, DRS is now wide open. It still says the predicted stop strategy. It can be right, but at the same time not really, as Bones makes a bit of a mistake coming out of the final corner, and that has allowed Vallejo to just sweep on by, and someone else just got a bit of wing damage. That was WF Gaming. Got front right end plate damage, and now Bree is stuck behind him as well, so I don't think Bree is going to be too happy about being stuck just there, as in fact Bree going down the inside of WF Gaming, a bit of contact between the pair of them. WF Gaming not just leaving that much room for Bree, but got the move done anyway. Nonetheless, Bree now up into P11 and is, well, he's going to try and charge. He's about 3 seconds down the road from the guys on the set of mediums, as Graham has gotten past V5 in the end. You can see going onto the DRS straight now of Itendu and Vallejo, as Bones has dropped off from these guys, but he will have the DRS, and so will Vallejo, and I don't think there's anything much that Itendu can do before the DRS is even wide open, and McLaren goes straight down the inside and is already past the Frenchman of Itendu. Is Itendu maybe going to try and react to it? However, no, he doesn't. Bones, nothing either, although Vallejo has broken very late, so that's going to allow Itendu to try and go back down the inside into the hairpin. He has gotten that move done. So Itendu now back up into P8, 4.5 seconds down the road from the next cars up ahead of him, but with him being on the harder compounder tyre, he's doing a good job of keeping up Vallejo on the softer compounder tyre. And speaking of the guys that are up ahead of him, you can see E2 and Black Panther just all over the back of the racing point of Coupe, and the gaps up ahead as well are all starting to go out a little bit further, but this one isn't. Dan and Syke. Dan, he did have a very good start. I don't know what had happened after that start though, because he just seemed to have dropped pace with all of these guys. Syke, massive moment out of turn 3. What a hold he's managed to just keep then. As P8 and P9 have just traded positions, Vallejo and Itendu. Itendu still keeping off the McLaren man of Vallejo. But Bones is now trying to get into the mix of all of this, but I don't think he's close enough to getting any sort of move done, as Vallejo going all out attack on these guys. There's too many battles that I'm trying to watch, as Vallejo down the inside of Itendu. A bit of contact between the pair of them, still clean racing between them. And I think Vallejo may have just got on that DRS. Yes, he has. And Bones is also trying to get in the mix now as well. We're going to might even be 3 wide going in towards the hairpin as Itendu moves straight back onto the racing line. Bones now trying to go down the inside in towards the hairpin. He does break a lot later than what all the other guys do as well. He touches the back of Vallejo, but I think that's actually allowed Vallejo to stay up ahead as Itendu goes very wide coming out of that hairpin. And they're both still side by side, both Bones and Itendu. Both break at the same time as well. I think Itendu's actually got a bit of front right wing damage. He does. I don't know where he's picked that up from. Very strange. Very, very strange. But Syke has managed to get past the Dutchman of Dan. Apologies, I did not manage to catch that, as Itendu has made his way into the pits. Frey as well, I also just want to point out, he did go on a set of the hards. So maybe he's going for a soft to hard to soft once again. Oh, sorry, medium to hard to soft to the end of the race. Because I don't think those hards are going to make it to the end. As we're just watching down for P12, in case you guys are new to the League of Europe, it is the top 12 that will get points. So at the moment, WF Gaming is the one that is getting the final point position, but V5 is all over the back of, all over the back of him on a softer compound of tyre, and both of these guys do have wing damage. But I'm going to sit on board with this battle. Actually, is going to be a Black Panther. Iron up a move on the racing point of Coop Janssen for P5. DRS now wide open for the Belgian, and it's a Dutchman versus a Belgian. Coop Janssen just keeping the inside down in towards the hairpin. I think he knows it's probably the best place to go, as Black Panther does break very late into the hairpin. But as he managed to get the move done around the outside, it's whoever gets the better traction. They've both got similar traction, but Black Panther, he just had a bit of a wobble, and that's caused him to not gain that position. Coop, very good defensive maneuver from him. In fact, very good racing from the pair of them, as we're just going to watch on board with E2 sitting behind these guys as well. And I think Black Panther, he's raring to get past him, but it's just nothing that he can really do, because Cooper's doing a very good job of, well, just of defending his position. And this is looking like it's the battle to watch, as Coop just touching the outside wall there, and Black Panther didn't look like he got a very good exit out of that final corner. Although saying that, he got a much better exit out of turn 1 compared to what the guy up ahead of him has. But he's just going to wait until he gets to that DRS zone to get maybe any sort of move done on the racing point, as DRS is now wide open for the man in the Renault. Let's see, is he going to go for a move maybe even into the chicane? No, he doesn't. He is going to wait for the long DRS straight, as Graham, I think, is the first one I have seen that has picked up a 3-second time penalty. As Black Panther, again, not a very good exit coming out of the long, is it like carousel left-hander? I'm not too sure. Just call it maybe the roundabout. Not too sure. But he has got the DRS on the Dutchman, and I don't think, well, as I said, I don't think there's much that he can do, but he is still going to do the exact same things what he done last time. Go to the inside. Black Panther has broken very late once again, and that's not even going to allow E2 to try and go for a move. But Coop Janssen had a massive moment coming out of the hairpin. That's not going to allow Black Panther to try and go down the inside, and now Coop is going to have the inside for the corner, but he's not going to be able to keep it this time. And now E2 all over the back of Coop Janssen. So Coop losing out that one position, and now the fin of E2 just behind him. As you can see, Black Panther already pulling out 0.8 of a second from those guys, as Dan, the first front runner to make his way into the pits. So maybe trying to go for a bit of an undercut on all of these guys, as E2 goes very wide out of that final corner. It's going to disrupt his run. As you can see, the pit window is open for guys going on a 2-stop, which is actually, I think, what Dan is doing. So Dan is 2-stopping the race, as I think Bree has just broken a bit of his wing in the background there. He has. So he didn't have any wing, well, to my knowledge, he didn't have any wing damage prior. So Bree, he was on an absolute catch-up charge as well to Bag of Bones, but he, with that wing damage now, he may be a bit screwed, as so is Coop Janssen, as E2 down the inside into the chicane. With DRS, there's nothing much that the Dutchman can do. He's had to give up that position. However, he will have the DRS come on this straight, and it looked like he got a pretty nice exit out of there as well. And you can already see he is catching the fin before the DRS zone has even come up. The DRS is now wide open. It's just going to make him go even faster, even further up ahead of the fin. Both running very low ERS. Coop, move done, and straight back up into P5. However, you can already see he's lost the DRS to Black Panther. Black Panther done a very good job of staying up ahead, and it looks as if he may be in this lap for maybe a 2-stop. He may be going on the 2-stop strategy. As you can see down the bottom right, you can see the little blue spanner to indicate that he may be in this lap, as Warren and Syke have both come in. Does Black Panther? No, he doesn't. But as I said, Warren and Syke both in. Where is Dan in relation to all of this? He's coming through the S section now, but he's stuck behind Bree, and saying that Bree's actually gone into the pits. as Warren on a set of the hards. He is going to be going to the end on those ones. Syke on a set of the hards as well and come out ahead of Warren. So did Warren have any wing damage? As Dan's actually come out ahead of the both of them. But he does avoid turn 1, does Syke. It's going to be very close. As Syke has just jumped Dan on the overcut. And he's one-stopping. So Dan could be a bit screwed in this race because he's going to have to stop again unless a safety car does come out. And I'm sure Syke and Warren are hoping that that does not happen. But we're going to need to wait and see what this man on your screen right now is going to do. If he is more than likely going to pit this lap. But back to this battle between E2 and Coop. As E2 did manage to get past Coop once again. However, E2 covering down the inside in towards the hairpin. Coop once again trying to go around the outside. Break a bit later. E2 has broken very late in comparison to the Dutchman. Goes maybe for a bit of a switchback. But I think E2 may have just held this. Has the Finn managed to keep it? It looks as if he has. Again, good defensive mover from E2. Taking a bit of a leap out of Coop's book from when he was defending from ILRT Black Panther. So, E2 maintaining that P3 position for now, only because he hasn't made his way into the pits. As you can see now, Mr. Anchor has come into the pits. Black Panther comes into the pits, E2 into the pits, and Coop into the pits. So Bones, I believe, will be taking the lead of the race. However, you can see Dan and Syke just behind them. Actually, I don't know if Bones will take the lead of the race. I think Mr. Anchor may come out just up ahead of him. Let's have a look. Because there's Bones in the lead at the moment. Mr. Anchor's now just making his way out of the pits. No, Mr. Anchor does jump him. Mr. Anchor's actually jumped all of the other guys as well. So, and Dan, I've just realised, has gotten out ahead of Syke. But, oh, massive wobble going through turn 2. Massive, massive wobble, which he did not want. And you can see Warren, he's already lost those guys by 4 and a bit seconds. So he must have had to get his wing changed somewhere. As Coop comes out in P10. He does come out ahead of Itendu, as Itendu is 2-stopping. So he's gone on another set of the softs. However, I am going to stick on board with this battle for P3. As this is actually important for a bit of the championship as well, because Dan isn't too far behind Syke in the championship standings. And Syke has now got his DRS wide open to the Dutchman of Dan. Is he anywhere close enough to get any sort of move done? No, he doesn't. He does break a lot later, however, but not close enough to get any kind of move in line on the Dutchman. As in the back, we do have a move. Vallejo and E2, these guys were battling before out of the pits, and E2 out ahead of Vallejo. A little bit of a, I think it's a little bit of a squeeze, but it was still fair anyway. He basically had almost a whole car up ahead. So Vallejo down into P9. Coop gone on a set of the hards. So we've got really mixed strategies in this race. We've got a few guys on the set of the hards. You've got the likes of Mr. Anchor, Syke, Warren, Black Panther, and Coop on a set of hards. And then you've got the likes of Dan, E2, Vallejo, and Bree going on a set of the mediums to the end of, not to the end of the race, maybe for a 2-stop strategy. I'm interested to see how that's going to pan out, however, as the two guys still yet to make any sort of pit stop at the moment is both Graham and Bones. They are 1-stopping, so they're going to go on a set of the hards more than likely to the end of the race, unless they decide to 2-stop. It's always a possibility. But Black Panther, DRS wide open. Look how much speed he has got in comparison to Graham from that. Graham, I think, just gave him the position, just said you can just go straight on through, because Graham will have the DRS on the next one, as Dan going around the outside of Bones with the DRS wide open, gets that move done. Now Syke, he's got a bit of a mission to do, as he wants to try and get past Bones as well if he wants to keep up with Dan. Syke going down the inside of Bones. Bones does leave him the room. I think he knows it's not his fight. Straight up the inside, and Bones now down into P4. Again, he didn't want to interfere it too much. I think the one he's more than likely racing with are the likes of Bree and Itendu anyway, maybe even Coop, just so it's just so it doesn't hinder his race, which is perfectly fair. It's perfectly fair. So But Bones, like I said, he did have a very good start to the race. He did move himself up from P11 up into P9. And it looks like he's just kept it clean in this entire race, which really is what you want to do, because I know because of it being a new track and quite a tight circuit, if you hit the wall, then that's practically, I wouldn't say it's your race over, but if someone is just to keep it clean, it's kind of like Monaco. If someone keeps it clean, no sort of wing damage or anything like that, then they're in the clear. If you do get any wing damage, it may not be over, because you can always still hope for like a safety car or anything, but there are your chances going quite a bit, as Vallejo getting a much better exit than what Graham has just done out of turn 4. So here we go, DRS now wide open, as in fact Vallejo does just stay behind, as WF Gaming gets a 5-second stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. Did he break his wing or something? We shall wait and see as he comes into the box. Yeah, you can see front right end plate damage from the man in the Ferrari, but psych. I thought he was going for a move. He hasn't managed to go for a move, as Vallejo is now actually going to go for a move on the racing point of Graham. I think this is mainly where we're going to see all of our overtakes going tonight, as Vallejo straight down the inside, get the move done. Graham, I don't think there's anything that he could do to try and counteract it. And Vallejo now up into P8. Graham, again, as I said, still yet to make a pit stop. However, I think the guys on the set of the medium, so Bones and Graham, may end up pitting very shortly. Might be this lap, might be next lap. As Bones, he hasn't gone into the pits, and he's stayed up ahead of Warren. As, ooh, E2, very close to the back of hitting Black Panther. So, this is where it's going to be a bit interesting. Graham, as I said, has gone into pits as E2 into the wall at the final corner. Has that allowed Graham to get a very good... Oh, to be fair, it's a virtual safety car. Him and Etendu, as Etendu's just picked up a 5-second stop and go for speeding in the pit lane. So yeah, there is a VSC. As Graham, a front wing change. Etendu, I'm assuming, might be doing the same. I don't know if it's a front wing change or if it's just an actual pit stop. He's doing a front wing change as well. So those guys, they pitted the correct time. And they have come out in P11 and in P12. Etendu is going to be taking those mediums possibly to the end of the race. I believe it is possible that Graham has just gotten a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. And he's looking very dodgy on the exit there. V5, I don't think wants to try and get involved with any of that, as E2 has left the session, understandably. And Graham, with that drive-through under this, through the safety car, well, it's just gone from bad to worse for the Brit. There's nothing that he could have really done. He did come out of the pits. He went very wide coming out of the pits, so maybe it might be a little bit deserved, I suppose one could say. However, I'm not here to judge. However, I think Warren is going to be judging Bones on this one, as Bones, in fact, yet straight into the pits. So, Bones, where is he going to be coming out in relation to everybody? As you've seen, there was a virtual safety car. I think he may even come out. He might even come out just up ahead of Bree, because Bree had to get his wing changed. You can see he's coming through the S section now, the final part of the S section, and Coop just up, is about 5 seconds down the road from him. So let's see. Bones coming out of his box now. Bree is making his way up to the final corner. I think Bones is going to be up ahead of him. You can see Bree's just coming across the line now. Yeah, I think Bones is going to be ahead of him. As there he goes. And yeah, there's Bree, 2.5 seconds behind. But Bree is on the set of the mediums. But he's more than likely going to need to stop once again. So Bones is actually on for a very good result, because you still got to think about the likes of Vallejo and Dan, the two McLarens, to make another pit stop. So that's going to put Bones, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's going to put him in the net 6th. However, of course, you've also got to take into account the likes of Dan and Vallejo, their pace between each other as well when they're on a softer compound. And just taking a quick look at it as well, if Dan was to pit, I I think average pit stop around here is about 22, 23 seconds. So even if Dan does pit, he may not even come out ahead. Bones may not even get up ahead of him. He may come out around sort of where Coop is. As Warren into the pits once again. Did he pick himself up more wing damage? If he did, he is going to be extremely disappointed with it. Yes, he has. So that's going to now promote the ILRT man of Black Panther into P4. And that's also promoted Vallejo up into P5. We could see a bit of a shift in the race turning around here as Dylan Warren has put on a set of the mediums. He's now just coming out of his pit box. He's going to be behind Bree and Bones. Is he getting behind Bree actually? Yeah, he will be. He will be. Very interesting turn into the race. As at the moment it's just a little bit of a lull period. No one's sort of really close to getting any sort of moves done. I think the closest battle is going to be this one between Bones and Bree. However, we could be seeing a little bit of a battle once again. It was Dan battling with Lawmans. Lawmans isn't here. I think Syke is now taking his place. Because it looks like we could see a battle brewing between Dan and Syke very soon. Definitely two battles to keep our eye out on, but you know what? I'm going to sit on board with this man right here because I never feel like the leaders get enough attention for driving as well as they are at the moment. And Mr. Anchor, he hasn't put a foot wrong whatsoever. He's just maintained his race lead. He's 5.5 seconds up ahead of Dan, who's sitting in P2. He's just driven it phenomenally so far, and he doesn't look. He's about to get his third win, as long as nothing sort of drastic happens to him in the final part of this race. He does have a little bit of a wobble going out of turn 4, but yeah, as I said, he's just driven an absolute stellar race, and well, the opportunities to stop him would have been last week, or even in Australia. Unfortunately, with Jonathan Lagan out in Australia, and with what happened at the beginning last week, it is just unfortunate. That's all I can really say. But he has driven an absolute stellar race. There are yellows in sector 1. Is that Bones? It is Bones. Out of turn 3. He's gotten wing damage as well. Oh dear. No, this was going to go so well for Bones as well. It was looking like it was going to be a very good race for the Brit, and I don't know what's just happened, but he's put it in the wall. He's put it in the wall. That's the only thing I know that has happened, unfortunately for him. But did Warren get any DRS? It doesn't look as if he did, but he's still gaining on Bree on the straight despite being on very low ERS. However, Bree is also the same on very low ERS. Look how much you just gained going through that hairpin. Just gained about 10% of his ERS once again. But Warren is just looking like the faster car of the two at the moment. So we have got this battle brewing between these two here, as Bree, despite getting that wing damage earlier on in the race, he's still done well to get into P7. Of course, I believe he may need a pit again. I could be wrong, as Bree, a bit of a moment into the penultimate corner, as now Warren now down the inside of him into the also final corner, both still side by side into the final corner. A bit of contact between the pair of them. I don't think there was any wing damage that came off from that, but I know Warren is not going to be happy. Bree did try to leave a bit of room, but it's definitely not the place you want to be going side by side in, and Warren tried to make it work, and well, he's paid the price of having to stay behind. And now DRS wide open for the man in the Red Bull. But I don't. He's just going to stay behind him. I thought he was going to try and go for a move, but yeah, he's just going to slot him behind him for now. No sort of moves done for him. As Bones, I believe, is he going to come out ahead of Frey? You've got Frey coming down there, and Frey is now in the final points position. However, Bones just making his way out of the pits now. Frey is out ahead. As there you go, Bree and Warren. I think Warren's just getting the move done with DRS quite easily for him. Bree, heavy lock up into the hairpin. I think he wasn't expecting the for the braking zone to be that quick. So look how much time he's already lost to Warren. He's almost down a second just from that one corner. You can already see it. So Warren now up into P7. He's got 6 seconds up the road to his next driver. Excuse me. And well, we can see by the end of the race, if he does end up catching him, he's already down by, well, he's already just dropped that by about 0.5 of a second. So is Warren about to set the fastest lap? Let's have a look. Coming around the corner. 38.6. What is the fastest lap so far, actually? Apparently Warren doing a 58.4. I mean, that's a little bit unrealistic. At the moment then it is Mr. Anger who has taken the fastest lap of the race. As I said though, I think Warren may have just done that on that lap. However, no, he didn't do that on that lap actually. He done on 38, so do ignore me on that one. As his times are a little bit glitched because I think of him lagging out at the beginning of the session. And I think this battle is starting to heat up once again between these two guys of Dan and Syke. The gap's sort of been about even, well, since the pit stop stages had occurred. And as odd as it looks like Syke is struggling a lot more than what Dan is. Despite Dan being on older tyres and softer compound, his softer compound tyres will start to run out quicker than what Syke's will. However, I've just seen Syke was just gained about 4 attempts on him. So maybe I just got that completely wrong and that Dan's the one that's struggling a lot more in comparison to the Brit. Here we go, DRS now wide open. As you can see, Bones and Frey have just traded positions for the final point. I don't think Syke is going to go for any sort of move down into the chicane, because you have got the long DRS straight coming up after this. As Dan, he wants to try and get the best exit possible. Does touch the inside curve ever so slightly, so may have hindered his traction. But there you go, Syke overtake on. I think there's nothing much that the Dutchman of Dan is going to be able to do. However, look how much ERS Syke is on in comparison to Dan. But here we go, Dan trying to keep it around the outside. DRS now wide open for Syke. Dan, he's got the 25% of ERS, but there's nothing he can do. He has to give up that position. He will have another try around coming through in towards turn 1, of course after turn 4, and of course the straight that he's been overtaken at. But Dan will need to keep up with him to be able to keep that DRS. And at the moment, Syke, you can already see, has gone up 6 tenths up ahead of the Dutchman. I think at the moment, Syke is just doing a little bit of ERS saving. But you got to think, Dan's tyres are definitely starting to go off as Frey picking up a 3-second time penalty. You got to think that his tyres are definitely starting to go off, as I'm actually going to go on board with this battle for P12 between Bones and Frey. Frey on 5-lap-old mediums in comparison to Bag of Bones on 1-lap-old medium tyres as well. And you can see Dan, he's already lost the time to Syke, as has Frey. No, he still has the DRS, only just has the DRS. But it's looking like that gap is increasing pretty quickly, as there are yellows, and WF Gaming has retired from the session. It's a full course safety car. He's binned it out of where Dan and Syke have just come through. I don't know how that's happened, because it didn't look like any sort of front tyre or anything had just come off. So maybe he was absolutely smacked to his back tyre, but I think Warren is going to be very happy that this has happened now though, because he's sitting down in P7. Let's have a look. Oh, it's his front left, you can see it. V5 picks up a 5-second stop go for speed in the pit lane, and a few of these guys have also got their 5-second time penalties that they are going to be serving under the safety cars, so fine for all of those guys. I think Graham is one of them. He's just served it, and out of the pits he comes. I think the best tyre maybe going now to the end of the race is going to be the set of softs. However, Graham has gone on a set of the mediums. Frey, Bones in the pits, out of the pits, on a set off the softs. Oh, this is where the race is going to spice up. I think Mr. Anchor is going to be fuming because he's already 9.5 seconds up ahead of all of these guys, and now with the safety car, it's obviously going to bunch all of them up together. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to happen. And in fact, Dave has just pointed out a very good part in the chat. So Dan, he would have needed to make a pit stop. He would have done, because otherwise those mediums may or may not have just been stretched to the end. But because of the safety car, I think Dan was very much hoping for it. He very much got it, because now he can go on a fresh set of softs and try to maintain that P3. And especially with guys that are also going to have a load of penalties, as Vallejo coming into the pits, getting a front wing change, Warren into the pits. This time, not a front wing change. Apologies for that, but cool. Bree, Graham, all on a set of mediums. I think Coop might get a little bit swarmed from all of these guys just behind him. Of course, DRS isn't going to be open for another 3 laps once the safety car has come in. I think he's hoping that that safety car stays out for as long as it possibly can. As I'm now getting a reputational damage, which is very annoying. But yeah, I definitely know Mr. Anchor is not going to be best pleased. Oh, here we go. So he said, hit the inside curb too much at the long corner before the straight, which has obviously gone and spun him into the wall. Right, okay. So we've had a VSC this race. We've of course now got a VSC. V5 is now the last person outside of the point, but I think this is where I think this is the pickup that we needed for the end of the race. This is where it's going to get absolutely manic, absolute chaos. I'm talking about long straight. Yeah, no, I've seen where you're on about. It's sort of just at the end of the first sector, just after the chicane, you've got the long left-hander. I know what you mean. I'm intrigued to see how Cooper's going to be at the end of the race, actually, because these guys that go on a set of the softs, I'm a bit unsure as to why they have, as Bree's come in, gone on a set of softs, and is now making his way out of the pits. But he's got Itendu behind him. In fact, he's actually going to come out ahead of him. Graham, he's still opted to stay on those set of mediums. And Bree is going to be up ahead of the racing point. He hasn't come out ahead of the Haas, however. But yeah, no, I'm definitely wondering about how Cooper's going to do, because, again, with him being on a set of medium tyres to the end of the race, there's only literally going to be about 7 or 6 laps left from when everyone sort of comes up to the safety car, or when the safety car will be in. I think it'll be 6 laps because it doesn't look as if everyone has caught up to the back of the safety car, and I don't think it will be in this lap if not everyone was caught up to the back of the safety car. So, let's see. Is it going to be in this lap? No, I didn't think it would be. It'd be very odd if it was, but yeah. So, I guess in people's predictions, mate, it could possibly change. I'm actually going to take this opportunity. I never look at the penalties. I never look at them. I'm going to take the opportunity to look at the penalties, because whilst we're under the safety car, we're still waiting for people to obviously catch up. We've still got one more lap off the safety car. So you can see Graham has a 3-second, Frey has a 3 second. WF Gaming has a 5 second, but he's out of the race, so that's not too important. Itendo has a 5 second. V5 and Graham had drive-throughs, which they've both served. What else we got? Frey with another 3 second. Although I think Itendo may have served the 5 seconds already. I could be wrong. Frey another 3 seconds, and V5 a 5 seconds. So V5 still has that 5 second time penalty. You've got Frey, who's got 1, 2, 3 penalties. And then everybody else is still clean from all of that. But if we get an actual in-depth look at it, Mr. Anchor, only the 1 penalty so far. Psych, 1 warning. Psych, no warnings. Dan, no warnings. Black Panther on 2 warnings. Coop, 1 warning. Warren, 2 warnings. Vallejo, 1 warning. Itendo, 2 warnings. Bree, 2 warnings. Graham, penalty and a warning. Frey, 3 penalties. Wait, I did count that right, didn't I? Yeah, 3 penalties. Bones, nothing. V5, he's still got the 5 second time penalty, but other than that, nothing. And yeah, so it could be a little bit ropey for the likes of Black Panther and Warren. The only 2 guys that are still on the guys that are on sort of like 2 warnings on the cusp of potentially getting another penalty. As you can see, Warren just lagging quite a bit going through the hairpin. But if I'm not mistaken, the safety car, and you can see it down the bottom left of the screen, it is going to be in this lap. So this, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to restart, especially coming out of that final corner, as everyone looks so bunched up together, and I'm just hoping no one's going to hit their wings or anything or hit anybody. But I'm looking forward to seeing how this restart is going to occur. You can see the safety car is already into the pits, and I'm assuming we are going to get racing right about when we come around this second last corner. Right now, Mr. Anchor has gone. And yeah, it's just that I've got the rev glitch. There you go. We have restarted the race, and it's looking like Dylan Warren is already trying to eye up a move on the Dutchman of Coop in towards turn 1. Down the inside, the Red Bull man goes, and straight away up into P5. Coop already losing out 1 position just from the safety car restart into turn 1. Dan has already dropped off quite a bit from the back of sight, so I don't know what's happening with Dan, but I think we're going to see a bit of a VSR, a bit of a VSR pile-up, a bit of a VSR battle commencing very soon, as Warren, now already just even under the safety car, has gotten 2 positions in the 1 lap. His next one is Dan up the road, 1.3 seconds behind him. Are we possibly going to see if he catches up to the back of him and get any sort of move done? Psych, however, he's already dropped back from Mr. Anchor by about 8 tenths. But you can already see he's already down on 30% ERS compared to Mr. Anchor's 42%. Bit of a rev glitch from the Finster. I'm not going to watch that, as Coop and Vallejo both side by side now in towards the hairpin. Coop does break in time and break it very late. Vallejo trying to hold it around the outside. Nothing that he can do. The Finn has to stay behind the Dutchman. Coop maintaining that position for P6 on the set of the mediums. He has got an absolute job to do. As both of the I've just realised it's only both of the racing that are out on the set of mediums, so they're going on a different strategy compared to everybody else. Bones and Frey just traded positions as Frey is actually spun on the S's. Don't know what happened there. I only saw that it was side by side with Bones, but very unsure as to what's happened there. But Vallejo, now look how close he is to the back of Coop, especially considering that Coop is on a set of the mediums as well. Vallejo is going to be kicking himself because he wants to try and stay within that 1 second gap between these guys, as Itendo and Bree have now just traded places. Bit of contact between the pair of them, but I think Bree had enough of a car ahead, and Bree now up into 8th, Itendo now down to the 9th, and he's got Graham just behind him as Vallejo now. He won't have the DRS, we'll have it next lap. still not being able to get any sort of move done. I wonder if Vallejo is just waiting for that DRS to come about. That's Warren. That's very odd. But overtake now on for the man in the Red Bull. Trying to go around the outside of Dan through the long straight, as Dan is now going to have the outside, and Warren down the inside of the Dutchman of Dan. Dan tries to go for a bit of a switchback, however, but I don't think he's got the traction to get that done. And Warren, well, I think, as I said, it did bless him. He's now back up into a podium position. But again, he has to be careful. He's only got the one more warning that he has to get, and then it's going to promote Dan into that podium position. A little bit up front as well for Syke, already out of that 1 second gap from his VSR compadre. So Warren, he's still got another 5 more laps, and he is looking like the quickest car on track right now. I'm going to see if there's any sort of changes with fastest laps. Nintendo, a 5-second stop and go for speeding in the pits. So he must have gotten himself some more wing damage, unfortunately. But Mr. Anchor is the one with the fastest lap so far with a 35.6. Dylan Warren's one don't count as a 58.4, although he may actually have the fastest lap. Let me just check. 36.9, no, so he doesn't. So Warren hasn't got the fastest lap. It is still Mr. Anchor with the fastest lap so far, so he could come away with the full 26 points this afternoon. As Vallejo and Coop Janssen just trading places. So I don't think this is where the Finn wanted to get it done, because now Coop's going to have the DRS down the straight as Frey picks up yet another 3-second time penalty. But yeah, I don't think this is where Vallejo wanted to get past. He's using his overtake, but you can see how low he is on the RS. Coop very low on the RS as well, but has got the advantage of DRS. However, not close enough, as he does break quite late actually. Vallejo does keep the inside covered off from the Dutchman, as Graham and Bones just trading places as well. Graham maybe trying to hold it around the inside, but Bones, he does give him the room. But I don't think there's anything that the Racing Point could do. Both the Racing Points now just dropping down the order. As it looks like Dan is struggling on these set of softs. Black Panther is now on the back of him. So let's have a look. Is the Belgian going to get past the Dutchman? Again, it's that little rivalry. He's of course not obviously going to be close enough to get any sort of move done, as Graham picks up another 3-second time penalty. But of course he isn't going to be close enough to get any sort of move done at the moment. It's only really going to be down this straight that's coming up, and down the long DRS straight. We've of course got another 3 more laps left to go off the race site. He's doing all he can to try and get in that DRS of his VSR compadre of Mr. Anchor, but is not close enough to get any sort of move lined up. And you can see Mr. Anchor is just doing a brilliant job. I said he was going to be a bit fuming with how the restarts turned out, or with the safety car coming out. I think it's worked out perfectly well for him actually. But Black Panther now, he's going to have the DRS wide open. He may even chuck it in overtake to try and get the best opportunity of getting past Dan. There you go, DRS now wide open. He's closing up to the back of him. Dan doesn't even go defensive on the inside, so Black Panther in fact breaks a bit early. So he doesn't go for a move on the Dutchman. This could actually play into Vallejo's hands now, because he's now only 1.5 seconds behind these two. And if these guys are going to be battling like that, or if he's going to be sort of backing off as much as he is, then there's not much that he can particularly do. As V5 has actually got massive wing damage. I don't know what's happened with him, but I don't know what has happened. Very unsure. I do apologise obviously for missing that, but Frey, he's gotten past him. However, the penalties, I think V5 is going to want to try and just push on to the end, because he's still got an opportunity of getting at least 2 points, maybe even the 1 point, as Nintendo is closing up to the back of him exponentially. Still back on board with this battle for P4, and this time, as I said, it's playing into Vallejo's hands. He's now only 1.1 seconds behind, maybe even on the cusp of getting that DRS, as V5 has actually come into the pits. I'm surprised he didn't stay out just to try and conjure up some point, at least a point. But you got Black Panther there. I think this is where he's getting this move done. DRS now wide open for the Belgian. Overtaking now in play. Second to last lap, straight down the inside. I don't think there's much that Dan could do. And there you go. Black Panther up into P4. It's a great move from him. Bree, I've also seen, is up the back of Coop. I also just realised V5 had a 5-second stop and go to serve as well, so he must have only just served that. So I don't think he would have even had any sort of intention with Frey, unfortunately. But Bree, very close to the back of Coop. And look at this, we could be seeing a battle of them two McLarens. It is now the final lap of the race, and Mr. Anker has led pretty much every, no, not pretty much, he has led every single lap, other than sort of at the beginning of the race where Dan was in contention with him. He's now down in P5 and under threat from his teammate. Just sticking on board with this battle as Dan. DRS is now wide open for him. He may actually need to go for a move because Vallejo is just behind him. Maybe iron up a move on him as well. No, he doesn't, so he's going to wait until the DRS straight. I don't think that's what Black Panther would have wanted. Is Bree and Coop just trading positions. Again, I think this is what Coop would have wanted, because he's going to have the DRS for the long straight. I think Bree overtaking him a bit prematurely. But look at Dan. He's got to worry about his teammate probably better, more than what he's got to worry about the car up ahead of him. Although he is gaining on him. He hasn't got much ERS either, however, and there are more yellows. It's B5. That's Coop and Bree. I told you, Bree, I think, just overtook him a little bit prematurely. And there's not much opportunity, overtaking opportunities coming through the S section, more just into sort of the final part of the track. But I'm actually going to stick in the broadcast camera of the Finn, who's led every single lap. Mr. Anker will come home and take the Vietnamese Grand Prix. Syke, you can see in the background, taking P2. It's a VSR 1-2. Warren, oh, massive collision at the end of the race. Both of the McLarens got wing damage. It's a race up to the line. Vallejo has just overtaken Dan at the finish. Oh, wow. That was interesting. I don't know what happened there, but Mr. Anker, you can see on the left it's a bit glitched because of Warren lagging out, but Mr. Anker does take first, Syke second, Dylan Warren in P3. Black Panther taking P4 with Vallejo and Dan. Bit of a controversial ending to that race, taking P5 and P6. Coop finishing in P7, Bree in 8th. Bree in 8th, Bag of Bones in P9. And Graham rounding out the top 10. Etendu does finish in P11, Frey finishing in P12. And now we just wait for B5 to come home and finish in the final position. But that was a very odd ending to the race. Vallejo and Dan, I don't know what happened at the end there, because I was on board, of course, with Mr. Anker and Syke, and then I see the positions changing. I don't know what had happened, but that's insane. Absolutely insane. A very good end to the race, however. And of course, Vallejo as well getting the driver of the day from P5 to P10. Of course, it's going to say Warren is going to be up on the top step of the podium, but I can say now he definitely wasn't. It was Mr. Anker. So congrats to the Finn for taking the win. Again, led every single lap, fully deserved. Couldn't ask for a much better drive from him. So there you go, final classifications. I'm going to look quickly at Dylan Warren's fastest lap just so we can actually see what his fastest lap was and then get it put in at the correct one for the final time. But Mr. Anchor does take the win with Syke in P2. Dylan Warren, as I said, finishing in P3 with Black Panther. I think it's his highest points position so far in P4. Vallejo finishing in P5, just up ahead of XL down in P6. Coop in 7th with Bree in 8th, Bones in 9th, Graham rounding out the top 10. Etendo, as I said, finishing in P11 with Frey in 12th, picking up that final points position. Our final finisher, of course, being V5 as well. Bit of unfortunate what happened in the race. WF Gaming and E2 were the other two that I had unfortunately DNF'd in the race. Of course, as I said, there was only 15 runners today. I think it was just due down to the whole thing that was going on with this track. A lot of people don't like it. Of course, as I said, it's still one of my favourite tracks, but yeah, as I said, it is what it is. But to everyone that was watching, thank you very much for watching and tuning into the stream. We will catch you guys next week for the 4th race of the season around the Zandvoort Grand Prix, and make sure you guys are tuning into Vietnam for tomorrow as well for the PS4 side. Of course, you've got Division 1, Division 3 and Division 4 all at 6:40 PM UK time, and you've got Division 2 and Division 5 at 8 PM UK time, so making sure you tune in for all of those. But yeah, as I said, my name is Jacob. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you guys next week for the Netherlands Grand Prix.